Hello teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back. I am so sorry I left you for so long. It's been quiet. It's been quiet on my other channel. It's been quiet here. I know I'm going more in a budgeting direction on this channel, but I was really sick. And so nothing got done. I was so hopeful for my long weekend because we had National Day here in Oman recently. And the holiday was actually, it was picked to go a little bit further. So we didn't have the holiday until a week and a half after the actual National Day. There's just been an announcement here that there are certain fixed holidays for next year. We've got a weird one on like January 11th. Well, a weird one. That's the day the current sultan ascended the throne because the other sultan died. But the way it works out with like school holidays is not great because it's going to be on January 11th, but we only come back to school after the winter break at like the beginning of that week. So it's going to be 3 days, then a day off, and then it lands on like a Wednesday, which is in the middle of the week. So it's going to be a strange one, I think. But anyway, getting off the point, I had a long weekend coming up and I was really hopeful because we had a very busy time coming up at school. And I was like, I'll have time to relax a little bit, get some of my report card comments done because I've got a lot of those to do. They were due this Thursday just gone. It's currently Friday. And I'll be able to maybe put out another couple of videos. That'll be fine. And then I started to get sick the week before. I actually checked on my phone. I had a message to my deputy. And I was just saying, hey, I'm just nipping home during my non-contact period real quick to get some medicine because I needed some over-the-counter stuff because I was suffering from what I thought was a cold. And she was fine. We just mention it to her when we're leaving in case there's like an evacuation, just so they know we're not in the building because usually we don't leave school during school hours because it's our work time. So it's been going on since the 22nd of November. Yeah, that's when I started to feel ill enough to start taking medicine. And I thought because the long weekend was like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was from like the 30th. I thought, well, I must be on the tail end of this now. I'll just recover a little bit. It'll be fine. No, we had a busy week going up to it. And then the week after the long weekend, CIS were coming. So CIS are an accrediting body for international schools. And once you get accredited, you have to do regular reaccreditation. So they came, I think it was for a pre-visit, but they were going to be here for a week. So it was an important week. And we had assessments on that week. And I was sick as a dog. Oh my God. I got, at the beginning of the long weekend, I got home and it was Tuesday night, and about 10 o'clock, I'd been tired all day, and about 10 o'clock, I just started shaking. You know, and like it's not cold. I live in the desert, it's not cold. And I just started shaking and couldn't stop, and I went to bed, and that was me KO'd for the rest of that long weekend. I was just very weak. Like standing up, I felt a little bit like I wanted to fall down. My stomach was really irritated, so I couldn't even have like coffee to get me through the work. Like, I felt awful. And I was testing for COVID because I had a fever. I didn't spike a fever, but I kept a fever. I was taking cold and flu medicine to kind of keep it under control, and paracetamol, which is Tylenol. It's the equivalent of Tylenol. Tylenol's your brand name for it. And we call it Panadol here as well. So I was taking that to keep the fever down. I had a decongestant, but those 4 days got really bad. And I was there on Saturday night, like, I feel awful. I'm going to have to call in. But then realizing, no, this visit's happening and I've got to start the assessments with the kids, and I don't want to be off at this point. And if you don't work in educational as a teacher, you may not know that missing work is usually more work than going, which is weird but true, because then you have to prep all the lessons for the sub anyway, and you don't know if the sub is going to be someone who works in your area or if it's just going to be somebody who was free to cover. So you don't know how well things are going to go, and I don't want to put the kids out of sorts if they're going to be tested. It's a whole thing. So I was just kind of schlepping through and feeling awful, just awful. And it's only really been yesterday I started to feel a little bit more human. And then today I'm still congested. I'm still coughing a little. I'm still congested, but I'm able to function pretty much. I'm still taking medicine, but not anything too bad or too strong. And it's been insane. I tested twice for COVID because I was just like, I've never had it. I don't know how I've gotten through the pandemic without it, but I've never had it, so I had no lived experience of what it was like. But during the weekend, I lost my sense of taste, I guess, because I was so congested. And I was like, oh God, this is it. This is it. And it just kept coming up as negative. I don't know. I know there's lots of different strains. Maybe it just didn't show up on the test or on the tests I did. Or maybe there's another respiratory virus that's been going around. It has a bunch of letters. I can't remember exactly. RPS, RVS, something. And a ton of kids have also been sick, which is where I've probably caught it. But the thing that we're finding with it, because loads of teachers have had it as well, is that just how long it lasts. Because like I said, it's the 7th of December now, I think. And I've been sick since the 22nd, and I'm not entirely out of it. I'm just more functional, which is kind of insane. So anyway, sorry to complain at you, but that's why I've been so quiet, because not only I've been horribly ill, we had visitors in like doing the pre-visits for accreditation or re-accreditation, because we've been accredited for a long time. And then it was also report cards and deadlines, and there was a big one on Thursday. And I've still got a lot to do, but nothing so pressing that I have to work at home for it right now, because I was just coming home after a full day, still ill, and then having to work till 9-10 at night, just trying to do the other things that were all due this week, because I didn't get it done last weekend because I was completely just lie in bed and breathe ill. So it's just been horrible. It's been a horrible couple of weeks. So welcome to my channel. Enjoy my complaining. I did make it to the groceries. My cupboard was bare. I made it to groceries today because I technically went on Thursday last week, but it was literally to get more tissue and go to the pharmacy because I was out of medicine. That was all I did. I was just focused on getting there and getting home. So I was just sort of making it on scraps, but I wasn't very hungry because I wasn't well, so it didn't matter too much. I do get lunch at school, so, you know, it wasn't like I wasn't eating, but I was making do. So went grocery shopping today. It's been interesting since the National Day is now over. I wasn't sure how Christmas was going to be taken here. And turns out, well, the supermarket I go to, Lulu's, had a ton of Christmas stuff in it. It has a display as you go up the kind of, you know, the trolley escalator that takes you up. It had a display. It was a few Christmas trees and then a Santa playing saxophone. I did actually record. I was really trying to not get people in, so it's just a few seconds. But there was a big display as I walked into the store. And it's always interesting to me what makes it abroad. But one thing I love to see, it's a tradition in the UK, and I don't think you have it in America, where we have these assortment boxes that just come out during the Christmas period. So it's a very festive thing, and you always have like a box in your house, or you take it with you when you go visit someone, and you can get the biscuit assortments like Fox's biscuits, or you can get the chocolate assortments like Roses and Celebrations, and Cadbury's Heroes is a newer one. When I was a kid, it was Quality Street or Roses, and the big war between those. And you get like these holiday boxes, which are big tubs of them. And they had a load of them in the store, and it just made me very nostalgic for a minute. I'll put the footage in just here. But it was also interesting to see on the other side, they had the American stuff, like the Reese's stuff. I don't like peanut butter and chocolate together, so it doesn't tempt me at all. But I always wonder how common it is, because I did also see this selection of weirdly flavored candy canes. I might talk about this in a minute in my grocery haul that I've got. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but please tell me they're not normal and they just came in as a novelty item. Because when it makes it to import here, I assume it's like common enough to be considered part of Christmas. And then I was like, no, surely not. Just go home, Christmas, you drunk, you know? I did put together a grocery haul just because I like them and I thought people might be interested, and then comparing with certain people, you may not know what's available in the grocery store. So I have been doing more budgeting stuff here on channel, so I've also included prices and things, and I'll probably just get into that. But that's where I've been. Sorry, I don't have a more exciting update for you. I did just have a cat invade my home, so I've got a little bit of footage of that as well. And other than that, that's what I've been up to, and thank you for your patience. So I'll just move on to the other footage. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I spoke to you. I'm so sorry. When I tell you I've been so ill, I'll probably do an intro before I show you this part, so I will have explained it, but I managed to drag myself up, out, feeling a bit more normal, trying to get some chores done in the house because I've done nothing for the past couple of weeks because I've been sick. So I had a little bit of a grocery haul. They had a load of Christmas stuff in, which was quite funny. I put some little clips there, but I was trying to avoid recording people and it's really hard. So I've just got some close-up bits and pieces. I just went grocery shopping. I'm kind of at the end of the budget because I get paid next week. And because I did decide to decorate a little bit for Christmas, which I wasn't going to do, I was a little bit low on the amount. I could have gone over. I had a bit of a buffer in my account, but it meant that I was trying to go for a little bit cheaper this time. So I planned out a few meals, but it's always interesting to me, like, the cost of things in other places. So I thought I'd do a quick grocery haul and tally up the costs for you. I feel like I may have done this once before, but I can't quite remember. I know generally groceries are quite expensive, but there are some things that definitely are on the cheaper side. And I was watching a video recently. There's a guy I watch on YouTube whose name I can't remember, Evan, maybe Evan something. And he's an American who lives in the UK, and he compares certain things. He does a lot of comparison videos. And he quite reasonably recently did one between American and British groceries. And I didn't realize that British groceries run much cheaper than American ones in general. I've always had the idea that it was the other way around, but it doesn't seem to be true. And so I thought I'd just go through and talk about the cost of things. And you know, if you're watching this channel, you know I do budgeting videos, so you kind of see what my amounts are. So maybe you don't find it interesting, maybe you do. I do, so I'm putting it up. So I do realise this all just looks like plastic bags at the moment, but let's take a closer look. I got some chicken breast, and I got some, this is actually veal. I usually just go for full beef, Indian veal, from 4/4. So because it's minced, I don't really mind, but this was cheaper than the other mince. There's usually two choices, buffalo and beef, and buffalo is cheaper, but I was putting it in a soup, so I just thought I would get that. I got some cheese, which is 1.3 English natural cheddar. There's a big range in cheese prices, but this is a relatively cheap one comparatively. I got a can of tomatoes for a soup I'm making, and I got some corn for fritters I'm going to be making. And I got a big old container of eggs because I use those a lot. This was my one treat for this trip. 2.6 real, which is quite expensive, but because I ended up saving money because I was quite produce heavy, I decided to treat myself. So let's get into the produce. We've got a bag of tomatoes. Whoops. Sorry, hitting my thing. I've got about 3 large carrots. Got 2 peppers, some spring onions, again for the fritters. Got some, these onions were from India, which is quite important because it relates to the price, which I'm going to explain in a minute. I got a little bit of broccoli. Sorry if it's a bit loud, my washing machine is going right under here. This is cucumber, courgettes, and some fresh herbs. So I've got some fresh parsley, fresh coriander, and some spring onions. Oh, I already showed you the spring onions. And some fresh chilies that are going to go into the soup, and a few little vegetable cubes. So I'm just going to go through the numbers so you can see kind of how the amount was. I ended up spending 15.3 real, I do believe it was, between everything I got. before I get to the totals, which I've calculated just to make it easier for everyone not working in local currency, I should say this was definitely a cheaper shop. I bought some decorations, like I said. Ooh, let me show you my Christmas tree. So there she is. I got her from IKEA. A little star on top there that's a little bit top heavy, but I don't care. I ended up buying the tree and the decorations mostly from IKEA, but I did go and get the lights from Lulu's a week or two later when I realized I just didn't have enough lights on there. She's cute, I like her, and I've also got a little star decoration on my front door as well. But originally I hadn't planned on decorating for Christmas because I was like, yeah, I don't really want to store it, but this shouldn't take too much, and I just wanted to feel a bit more festive. After the National Day holiday, I realized that places do sell Christmas things, and I love the build up to Christmas more than I like the day, and especially if I'm going to be staying here, I was like, just make yourself a little bit happier and put some things up. But I hadn't budgeted for that. I hadn't had a separate fund ready for it. So I ended up taking out of a few different categories. And it just means that we got to the end of the month, because this is the last grocery shop I do before I get paid. And in order to keep it within the amount that I had planned to do this month, I had about 18 real left. So I did just under the wire, which was great. Usually I give myself between 25 and 30. It usually comes out between 25 and 27, but I have a few extra real in there just in case. But this time it was 15.3 real, which is, according to the online converter, £32.43. And according to the USD, it's 39.74, so around the $40 mark. Of that, all that produce cost me 4.21 Omani Real, which is £8.92, around £9, and that's around $11 US, which is $10.94. And we'll call them proteins, but the chicken, veal, cheese and eggs, those four things together was 7 real 38, which is about 15.64, about 64, or 19.17 USD. So I personally, like, the thing I find, I want to say that's fairly cheap for Oman, because certain vegetables are very cheap in the UK, and with Oman you have this thing where it tells you when you buy them where they come from. So if you get carrots from Oman versus carrots from, I don't know, wherever, UK, wherever, the UK ones are imported from further away and they're going to be more expensive. They actually had carrots on offer this week, so I'm not sure where they were from, but they were a special price. So things like the onions I have there, if I buy the Indian onions, which are a little bit more varied in size and things, they cost 0.3 real per kilo. But if I buy Spanish onions, which are a bit bigger and they're yellow rather than the pink ones, they're 0.7. So it really can make quite a big difference to the price. I was trying to make a leek soup the other month, leek and potato soup, I was thinking about it. And no, I made a leek and chicken soup, that was it. And the leeks were like 3.2 real, which was crazy to me because leek, I know it's not as common in America, but in the UK, very, very cheap. They grow very easily in the UK. And it was so expensive, I was like, never again, I'm not doing it. But I went for the cheaper ones this time around, so I was looking to cut down my bill a little bit. And I was very pleased I came in just under the wire. But this was definitely a cheaper run, and I did focus more on produce because I knew it was going to be cheaper. I've got some chicken in the fridge that I do need to use today. I'm planned out 3 main meals really. I'm going to cook the chicken breast, have it chopped up in the fridge, have it for salads. I'm also going to make, what's the word, goulash? No, not goulash, stroganoff. It was going to be a beef stroganoff, but I was like, I'll do it with chicken. So I'll use the chicken I've got in the fridge for that, and I'm going to make broccoli and cauliflower soup with some ground meat in it for protein. And those are going to be my main meals, and then I've got a few other things like the courgettes for fritters and things for smaller meals throughout the week. So pretty happy with how I did. How are groceries where you are? Like, is it true, or do you find it to be true? Because I know it's such a huge variety of prices when you move across America, or if you're from another country. I don't want to presume, just the majority of my audience is American. How are you finding prices? I know they're going up in a lot of places right now. I'm obviously a single person. I don't need pet food or what have you. And there were a lot of costs that go into my regular amount of budget that I didn't need this week. So I could have done with getting some coffee beans, but they didn't have any in, so I just didn't bother. I've got some ground coffee I'll use instead this week. And I didn't need toiletries today, which I usually do have to put into the bigger budget I usually have. So how are you finding things? I'd be interested in the comments below. I just went outside to put my washing out to dry, and the neighbour's cats decided to come visit. Sweetheart, why are you hiding? You're the one who came in. You want to go out the front? No? Hi there. Just explore, go on. I'm gonna let her look around a minute. Last time we did this, after a minute or two, she realised that the person who lived here before me doesn't live here anymore, and she went to the front door and demanded to be let out. So I think if I give her a minute, she'll do the same. I don't know who you're looking for, my love. She's literally just stepping into every single drawer and cupboard I have. This is literally it, love. You're gonna have to come out the front door. Yeah? There's nothing here for you. Don't you do it. Darling, come on. Came in over the fence at the back when I was putting out my laundry, so I don't know if she wants to go out the back again. Okay, I messaged on the group and found her owner. Apparently the cat's name is Maggie. She's very friendly, which she was. She was just coming to visit. She's now gone home. At one point she was behind my Christmas tree and eyeing it up, and I was like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you do it. My house is not cat proof. Don't you do it. She's decided my kitchen window is the place to sit. So there we go. Just come back quickly to say thank you very much for watching and finish the video off, and I will get to my end of month wrap up for the budgeting in the next few days, because I get paid on, well, it's no later than the 15th, so at some point this week I'm going to get paid, and then we will do next month's budget, so you'll see a couple of videos up here. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.